The actor reflected on his portrayal of Will Sawyer, describing the character as distinct from any other role he had undertaken. Will Sawyer had once served as a hostage rescue negotiator for the FBI, a man who worked closely within a team but who had since turned away from violence after a mission ended catastrophically. When first introduced, Sawyer was living with the trauma of his past and the physical loss of his leg, struggling to rebuild his life piece by piece. The director, Rawson Marshall Thurber, envisioned a performance that went beyond physical strength. Although Dwayne Johnson was known for his imposing presence and ability to perform feats of power, this role required something more intimate and emotionally complex. Sawyer was not designed as a superhero, but as a flawed, vulnerable man thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Throughout the story, Sawyer's calm life was violently disrupted when his family became endangered. Despite being in a foreign city and physically disadvantaged, he confronted impossible odds, driven by his determination to protect those he loved. The film explored the desperation and devotion between him and his wife as they struggled to reunite and save their children, reinforcing the depth of their relationship and the emotional authenticity of their bond. Producers discussed shaping Sawyer in the spirit of the classic Harrison Ford archetype, an everyman compelled to rise above fear for the sake of family. The creative team sought to present a character who was ordinary enough to be relatable, yet courageous enough to inspire. The narrative tested him intellectually and emotionally, forcing him to outthink his enemies rather than overpower them. The performances around him reflected this tone. Colleagues noted Johnson's deep commitment to the role and his ability to portray both physical endurance and inner pain. He approached the character's trauma and hardship with seriousness, yet remained humble and collaborative on set. His professionalism, lack of ego, and relentless work ethic motivated the entire crew. For Johnson, the role presented a new challenge, one that compelled him to demonstrate restraint and humanity, rather than the exaggerated heroism that audiences often expected. Those who worked closely with him emphasized his discipline, generosity, and refusal to indulge in arrogance. His portrayal of Sawyer captured the essence of perseverance, a man nearly broken, yet unwilling to surrender. As the film progressed, his unwavering determination became the emotional core of the narrative. By surviving overwhelming adversity, Sawyer embodied the strength that emerges from fear itself. When performed with sincerity, this quality produced a powerful emotional resonance that lingered with viewers after the final scene. In the end, Johnson expressed pride in the finished film, regarding it as an achievement that balanced emotional storytelling with gripping action and as a project that allowed him to reach depths rarely seen in his earlier work. The scene opened with the sound of automatic doors and heavy breathing, underscoring the moment's intensity. It marked the beginning of what would become the most physically demanding role of Dwayne Johnson's career. He immersed himself entirely in the character, dedicating significant time and preparation to embody the experiences and psychology of an amputee. Every movement, every action, and every second of performance required mindfulness and precision. Determined to portray amputees with authenticity and respect, he studied the distinctive physical nuances, the hitch in the step, the altered gait, and the body's balance that shaped their daily lives. Director Rawson Marshall Thurber had long envisioned creating a hero who was an amputee, a character type rarely seen as the lead in an action film. The idea of casting Dwayne Johnson as a wounded warrior and an amputee veteran brought this vision to life. Actor Neve Campbell expressed admiration for the project's realism, noting that such representation offered audiences a meaningful look into the reality faced by many returning veterans who lived with life-altering injuries. The focus was not only on entertainment, but also on honoring their sacrifice. Johnson's primary source of inspiration was Jeff Glasbrenner, a real-life amputee athlete whose accomplishments captured the spirit of resilience. Johnson contacted him personally, inviting him to the set to guide the portrayal of his character. Glasbrenner, the first American amputee to climb Mount Everest, was also a three-time Paralympian and world champion wheelchair basketball player. His achievements became the foundation upon which Johnson built his performance. When Glasbrenner visited the set, it became a moment of pride for the entire cast and crew. His presence reminded everyone of the film's more profound message that being an amputee is not a limitation but a testament to strength and determination. Together, they sought to show that life's summits could still be reached with courage and conviction. During filming, Glasbrenner advised Johnson on how to move authentically, especially during demanding action sequences. His guidance on the character's stride ensured that even subtle details of motion reflected truth. Later, watching playback of the performance, Glasbrenner expressed his admiration. The portrayal felt accurate, grounded, and honest. Throughout production, the mutual respect between Johnson and Glasbrenner reinforced the authenticity of the film's message. Glasbrenner shared that he had never intended to be a role model, yet life had shown him the value of inspiring others to confront their challenges. He believed that with belief, support, and the right mindset, people could achieve anything, principles that mirrored Johnson's dedication to the role. For Thurber, the creative vision had always been about breaking boundaries. He wanted to show that amputees could embody heroism as powerfully as any action star. The film became, for him, more than entertainment. It was a tribute to strength, representation, and resilience. As production concluded, gratitude and pride filled the set. The cast and crew celebrated not only the completion of a film, but also a message of empowerment for viewers everywhere. Applause echoed through the space, a final acknowledgement of the collaboration and spirit that had driven the project from its beginning to completion. The scene begins with a tense moment as a young girl witnesses a violent struggle involving her mother. The chaos quickly subsides, giving way to a quieter, more tender scene of a father expressing affection for his children. The atmosphere shifts between moments of intensity and warmth, highlighting the emotional range of the story. Director Rawson Marshall Thurber oversees the production, guiding the cast through their performances. He reflects on the nature of the roles Dwayne Johnson has portrayed in the past, often as a single or divorced man, compared to the stability of his current character, who is a devoted husband and father. Once Neve Campbell was cast, the team began to imagine what their on-screen family might look like, embarking on a search for the right young actors. After an extensive casting effort that spanned multiple countries, they discovered two remarkable children, Noah and McKenna, whose chemistry with Johnson was immediate and compelling. Their resemblance to a younger version of the actor was striking, and their energy on set brought depth to the family dynamic. Campbell expressed her fondness for the children, describing them as enthusiastic, talented, and a joy to work with. The director praised the young performers for their professionalism and ability to deliver nuanced performances in emotionally and physically demanding scenes. On set, Thurber carefully directed their movements, ensuring that each moment felt natural and precise. The children approached each sequence with excitement, particularly enjoying the action and stunt elements that made them feel like real heroes. Stunt coordinator Alan Poppleton noted the production's strong emphasis on safety, affirming that no child was ever placed in a situation he wouldn't allow for his own 4 children. The younger cast members impressed everyone with their commitment, handling both the dramatic and physical challenges convincingly. Throughout the lengthy filming process, which spanned several months, despite the story being set on a single day, the actors embraced the gradual transformation their characters underwent. As the scenes required them to appear increasingly dirt-covered and weathered, the children found joy in the gritty realism of their appearances. McKenna, in particular, relished the chance to perform her own stunts and appreciated the supportive atmosphere created by the crew. Between takes, the children would often dance or sing to keep their energy up, then seamlessly transition into character when the cameras rolled. By the end of filming, both Noah and McKenna had earned the admiration of the entire production team for their maturity, enthusiasm, and work ethic. Acting alongside Johnson and Campbell, they brought authenticity and emotional depth to the family dynamic at the film's center. Everyone involved took pride in their contributions, recognizing that their performances played a vital role in shaping the heart of the story. Chaos unfolds as officers are struck down, and a desperate call for assistance echoes through the scene. The tension shifts into a lighthearted recollection and origin story behind the film, Skyscraper. It began when Rawson reached out to share an idea. He had previously collaborated on Central Intelligence, so there was already trust and anticipation that whatever followed would be worthwhile. Rawson's concept arrived as a short pitch, only a few pages long, filled mostly with images that could be read in minutes. Before ending their conversation, Rawson left an unusual instruction. If the idea was appealing, a pineapple should be sent. If not, a far less appropriate image would suffice. The idea immediately resonated. Later that day, after some amusement at the odd proposal, the decision was made to respond in kind. A pineapple was held in one hand, a bold middle finger raised with a grin, and a quick snapshot captured the moment. It was a cheeky way to say yes. Amidst laughter and good spirits, the plan solidified. Despite initial worries that other projects involving massive skyscrapers were already in development, enthusiasm prevailed. The pitch was accepted wholeheartedly, sealing the beginning of a collaboration that none suspected would align so perfectly. The simple act of sending a pineapple became the spark that launched Skyscraper into motion. The behind-the-scenes sequence depicts the energy and intensity brought to the production. Neve Campbell approached the project determined to give her utmost effort, relishing the chance to perform physically demanding scenes. Known for her strength and presence, she embodied the role with confidence and skill, showing both resilience and determination throughout the shoot. Her character exuded a sense of toughness that matched the film's action-driven tone and complemented her on-screen partner's role. Previously trained as a dancer, Campbell found familiarity in stunt work through its rhythm and choreography. She expressed joy in merging movement and performance, seeing each fight scene as a carefully constructed physical dance. This connection between movement and storytelling shaped her precise and expressive approach to action. During casting for the role of Zia, an icy and calculating assassin, the director reviewed numerous auditions before discovering Hannah's submission. Fresh from giving birth, she recorded her audition while being wheeled through a hospital corridor, holding 2 prop guns and fully performing her scene. The performance demonstrated her commitment and intensity, convincing the filmmakers she was ideal for the role. On set, she trained rigorously with the stunt team, demonstrating professionalism and enthusiasm as she developed the deadly elegance required for her character. She was designed as a cold, efficient killer raised to eliminate without remorse. In portraying her, Hannah captured both precision and menace, excelling in her fight choreography and demonstrating high stamina during intensive shooting days. Among the film's standout moments is the confrontation between Sarah and Gia inside the confined space of a squad car. The team sought to create an intimate fight sequence in a claustrophobic environment, enhancing the realism and tension of the encounter. The director envisioned the setting as a coffin-sized battleground, where Sarah could exploit the limited space to survive against her ruthless opponent. The fight choreography emphasized authenticity rather than stylized combat. Instead of mimicking traditional male fight scenes, the sequence depicted instinctive, desperate tactics pulling, slamming, and using every possible advantage. The creative choice underscored raw survival over precision technique. Throughout the struggle, Sarah's character fought not out of aggression, but out of a determination to draw attention and stay alive. Neve Campbell and Hannah collaborated extensively to perfect the physical storytelling of the scene. Their preparation and chemistry translated into an intense and believable performance, captured vividly through close camera work and visceral action. The result was an energetic and tightly executed sequence that became a highlight of the film, revealing both the character's vulnerability and strength. Chaos erupted when a man shouted that someone had stolen his bag, followed by the sharp sound of gunfire and the panicked screams of the crowd. The tension quickly escalated into a violent struggle. When news first broke that Pablo Schreiber would join the cast, excitement spread among those who already admired his acting. Meeting him in person left a strong impression. His commanding presence and towering build instantly shaped expectations for the fight scenes ahead. He was larger than most men, even those used to standing among Hollywood's toughest. The filming of the apartment fight sequence demanded both physical intensity and emotional authenticity. Though one of the performers was meant to hold a tactical advantage, the sheer strength and mass of Dwayne Johnson turned the match into a grueling display. His training and physical discipline gave every movement weight and realism. In an era where fight choreography often looked polished and glossy, this one was stripped to its raw essence flesh, grit, and endurance driving the spectacle forward. Director Rawson Marshall Thurber took great pride in what the team had achieved. Johnson, Schreiber, stunt coordinator Alan Poppleton, and second unit director J.J. Perry worked with precision to build a sequence that delivered genuine impact. The preparation involved nearly 10 versions of the choreography, which were revised repeatedly until everyone was satisfied with the flow and emotional rhythm. Approximately 90% of what appeared on screen came directly from the actors themselves, a rare level of engagement for such physically demanding scenes. Pablo Schreiber underwent extensive preparation to match that authenticity. Weeks before filming, he trained intensively every day memorizing fight sequences, refining his coordination, and developing his martial arts and jiu-jitsu skills. The complexity of the sequence required deep muscle memory, leaving little room for hesitation once the cameras rolled. While his stunt double contributed in key areas, most of the brutal work was done by Schreiber himself. Standing nearly equal in height to Johnson, Schreiber became one of the few actors to meet him eye-to-eye in combat on film. He lacked his opponent's mass, but compensated with agility and commitment. The resulting confrontation between two giants confined within the small apartment became both a spectacle and a metaphor, a space too tight to contain their ferocity, where every movement shattered furniture and tore through walls. The stunt team focused not just on choreography, but also on motivation. Every strike and grapple needed a purpose. These characters were not enemies by nature, but former allies whose conflict carried personal weight. That emotional history fueled the realism. The fight felt primal, grimy, and desperate, far from stylized violence. Each motion radiated exhaustion and survival instinct. For Will Sawyer's character, the sequence became a test of sheer survival. He clawed, stumbled, and fought with whatever remained of his strength, forever on the edge of defeat, yet refusing to fall. Observers later called the battle a clash of titans in a cramped, fragile space, a visceral spectacle of brute force and willpower colliding. By the final take, when the director called for the cut, satisfaction spread across the crew. The fight had achieved what it set out to portray, not just power, but the raw human struggle to endure against impossible odds.